Deep in the heart of an isolated mountain range lies Deadwood Forest, a place where even the bravest souls refuse to tread after sunset. The locals whisper about the forest with a mix of fear and reverence, claiming that it is cursed, haunted by the restless spirits of those who vanished within its tangled web of trees. Our story begins with a group of friends, Lena, Mark, Sarah, and Tom, who decide to camp in Deadwood Forest, intrigued by the ominous tales. They are thrill seekers, eager to debunk the myths and prove that there's nothing to fear. They arrive just as the sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows that seem to stretch and curl like dark fingers reaching out from the forest's depths. As they set up camp, Lena notices something strange. The forest is unnervingly silent. No chirping birds, no rustling leaves. Just an oppressive stillness that makes the hairs on the back of her neck stand up. She brushes it off, convincing herself it's just her imagination. Night falls quickly in Deadwood, the darkness thick and suffocating. They gather around the campfire, telling ghost stories and laughing nervously. But as the hours pass, the air grows colder, and the fire struggles to stay lit, as if some unseen force is trying to snuff it out. Suddenly, Mark hears a faint sound, a soft, almost imperceptible whispering. He asks if anyone else heard it, but the others shake their heads. He listens intently, the whisper growing louder, more distinct. It's calling his name, Mark. His heart pounds in his chest as he scans the darkness beyond the firelight. He sees nothing, but the whisper continues, growing more insistent. Mark stands up, stepping away from the group, drawn toward the sound. "Mark, come to me." Lena notices Mark's strange behavior and grabs his arm, trying to pull him back, but he yanks free, his eyes glazed over as if in a trance. Without a word, he disappears into the blackness of the forest. Panic sets in as the others call out for him, their voices swallowed by the void. Sarah, the most level-headed of the group, suggests they wait for him to return, but Tom, fearing the worst, insists they go after him. Reluctantly, they agree, grabbing flashlights and venturing into the unknown. The forest seems to close in around them as they move deeper, the trees towering like ancient sentinels, their gnarled branches clawing at the sky. The ground is uneven, the roots of the trees snaking out like the twisted fingers of the dead. As they walk, the whispering returns, but this time it's louder, echoing through the trees, calling each of their names. Lena, Sarah, Tom. Fear grips their hearts as they realize they are being hunted, lured deeper into the forest by an unseen entity. The whispers grow more frantic, overlapping in a cacophony of voices, some pleading, some mocking, but all of them filled with an unholy hunger. Suddenly, Lena screams, pointing ahead. In the faint glow of their flashlights, they see Mark standing still as a statue, his back turned to them. Relief floods through them, but as they approach, they realize something is terribly wrong. Mark's skin is deathly pale, his eyes wide open, staring at nothing. His mouth is twisted into a grotesque smile, as if frozen in a moment of pure terror. Lena reaches out to touch him, but as her fingers brush his skin, he collapses into a pile of dust. The whispering intensifies, now a deafening roar that shakes the very ground beneath their feet. The forest itself seems to come alive, the trees creaking and groaning as they shift, forming a labyrinth of twisted wood. Tom grabs Sarah's hand, urging them to run, but the forest has other plans. The roots burst from the ground, wrapping around their ankles, pulling them down into the cold, unforgiving earth. They scream, but their cries are drowned out by the whispers, now chanting in an ancient, malevolent tongue. Lena, the last one standing, watches in horror as her friends are swallowed by the forest. She tries to run, but the roots have her too, dragging her down into the black soil. The last thing she hears is the whisper, now clear and unmistakable. "Join us." And then silence. The next morning, the camp is discovered by a passing hiker, but there is no sign of the group, only a circle of dead, blackened earth where their fire once burned, and the whisper of the wind through the trees, echoing with the voices of the lost. Some say that if you listen closely, you can still hear them, the echoes of Deadwood Forest, calling out to anyone foolish enough to enter. They say the forest is always hungry, always waiting for the next soul to claim. So, if you ever find yourself near Deadwood Forest, remember this story, and whatever you do, never go in after dark.